Good evening, everyone. Well, good evening, good morning, good afternoon. I guess it depends where you live. Welcome. If you're new here or you're a regular or you're just here, say hi in the chat. You know, this can only exist if I could sit and stream to myself all evening, but we might as well do some stuff together. How is everyone? Has everyone had a good week since last Monday? Last Monday was very successful. We managed to get up to 50 followers, so we'll see how we go tonight. I didn't quite hit affiliate because I don't. It measures like 1st to the 30th of the month, and I missed a few in September, as you might know, from different conferences. So yeah, I guess I missed the hours, but hopefully in October we will. As long as nothing gets in the way, we'll hopefully get to affiliate, and then we can get that emoji done that we talked about. Right, so I'm going to assume that some people are here. We're going to hope. So if you were here last week, you would have seen that I was doing this counter. So it's still running apparently. Let's stop that and start it again. Stop. Oh, the studio needs quitting. Yes, there's no simulator running. But anyway, yeah, so we've got Visual Studio, which doesn't want to quit apparently. Okay. We will get rid of it. But yeah, I'm just going to show you what it was that we made last week in case you weren't here. There we go. So last week we had a look, we talked about .NET Conf and some stuff that I did at the weekend. And one of the things we talked about was this library I discovered called Magic Gradient, which allows you to do sort of multi-line gradient, multi-line gradients. It means that you can have lots of gradients at different angles, which is how I managed to get a really pretty fractal design, which I can't take credit for. There is a sample in the repository for this library that gives you all those nice pretty fractal gradients. All I did was go ahead and change the colours from, I think it was purple base, and I changed it to a gold colour that you'll see in a minute. Okay, there you go. So I'm just going to kick this off so you can see what I mean. So we should have some nice pretty fractal gradients. And then I built a counter. So Copperbeardy, a good friend of mine and regular attendee in the chat, he mentioned that he wants to understand MVVM better, which is model view model architecture. So I went ahead and just stuck a counter in here, just to show how MVVM works. So this is the bit here from the Magic linear gradient view. So that's the bit that does the background. But there you go. See, we've got this nice pretty fractal background with the counter. But we're going to take the counter out. Oh, hey, Copperbeardy, who's here? But yeah, so welcome. No worries, take your time. So yes, we've got this counter, but the whole point of the counter was just to show how to do the MVVM architecture. So we're just going to go ahead and delete this stuff. So if we save this now, thanks to hot reload, we should see ta-da, instant. So that's what we're up to. So we've got this pretty background. I'm just going to go ahead and unwire those properties we don't need anymore. So we don't need that, and we don't need that or that. In fact, we don't need any of this. We might not even need the main page in a minute. So, as you might have seen, yeah, I thought it was Control D. What's it Option D? Nope, that makes a pretty picture. I don't know. One of these is supposed to get rid of lines, but anyway, this app is called. Oh, we've got updates. Should we update? Yeah, go on. We'll stop it first, actually. So yeah, it's called Scheduler. So we're going to start actually doing something with it. So I'll just hit off updating the NuGet packages, and then I will talk you through what it is I'm trying to achieve. So, was it time? Hey, Andreas. So, it was time. Can't remember what it's called. It's called Time something. So it's an app that's only on Android, and I don't know if it'll come up. But yeah, it's only on Android. A friend of mine recommended it to me. But as I said, it's only on Android, and so I thought, oh well, you know, I quite like the concepts of this. So I'm just going to see if I can find the app, and then I'll talk you through what it was. Nope. Let me just load the chat quickly. See if I can remind myself what it was. So. Yeah. I think it was in here. I won't take too long. If not, I'll just describe it to you. But so I'm just trying to find. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, okay. So all it is that you, with this app, you basically say, like, you know, from 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. it might be that I'm eating breakfast and drinking coffee or something, and it just kind of breaks your day up into that. So I just kind of want to start implementing something like that. We're going to keep it super simple by starting with a list, like a to-do list. So it'll just be, you know, a list, and we can add some items, and we can just click, you know, add, and it will just add it to the list, and then we might be able to delete and stuff like that. But yeah, start off super simple. We're just going to do a bog standard to-do list. So in order to do that, we're going to want, first of all, we're going to want that layout. So we're going to want to say, like, you know, item to add, and then you might have an add button next to it because that's the most logical place for it. And then obviously we'll put in a list, and then we'll try and get it to add to the list. So we'll kind of talk through how we do that as we go. I have a rough idea in my head, but again, a lot of this is just me learning as I go. Kind of the reason I want to do it on stream is so that I've got people to help me, but also people to hold me accountable. You know, if we work through this week by week, maybe we'll get to the end of it. We just get back to the dashboard. Okay. So we're just going to update these packages, and then we'll go ahead and start doing some stuff. Ooh. So at some point, I probably will add Shell into this. So Shell is a clever navigation framework that just makes linking up your navigation pages and passing data around super easy. I'm not going to do Shell yet, only because Shell really starts to show its power when you have multiple pages, and if you've got one single page, it's overkill. Now, it may well be that we get to a point quite quickly that we want Shell, because it might be that when you click on a page, not a page, an item in your to-do list, it takes you to a page where you can have look at more details. But yeah, start with the minimum of our product. Right now, we just want button, like be entry, not editor, because it's just one line. It'll just be an entry, a button to click add, and then the list. And that's target one. That is goal number one. We're even going to write it down. So let's zoom in nice and big. Notifications. Okay, so let's zoom in. Let's see, right, so goal one. Entry box with add button and list. It adds it to. We can zoom out a bit. There we go. Goal 1. That is goal 1 for the evening. So we're gonna, step 1 is get rid of these pages, because we don't need a main page anymore. The reason I say that is because obviously we want a page, but main page could mean anything. You know, we want our pages and our view models and stuff to have names that make sense. So we can get rid of these 3. Remove, delete. We don't need them. So we can get rid of that. So we can leave that stuff in there. That's about fonts. We can have icons. But let's see. We want to add a new page. So makes sense. Let's add a new page. So when you do Xamarin Forms in Visual Studio for Mac, when you do new file, you'll see these bits on the left. And you get, so Forms is one of the options. So in Forms, you get all these different types of pages. So you've got like view cell, tab page, master detail page. And you've got different ones in like normal content view or content view XAML. We want a page, but we want a XAML page, because that means that we want to do write the page in XAML. Now you can do it differently. You know, you can do it in code if you want. I have done it in code in the past, and I know that Brandon Minnick, who is a senior cloud advocate at Microsoft, who I've mentioned on the stream before, I know he does all his code in C#, like does all his UI in code. It is possible, and it can look quite neat, but I just like the simplicity of XAML, and especially when you're, you're streaming like this and you're trying to teach people so they understand it as you go. Because XAML is a declarative language. Again, you could argue it's a syntax, like it's a markup language. It's quite easy to understand. So we're going to call this to-do page. Hey, Ancient Coder, welcome, welcome. So we're just doing a making the start of a like scheduling app. So goal 1 for the evening is entry box with a button and a list that you can add the items to. So we've just gone ahead and deleted the main page because we wanted to start from scratch. So so we've got rid of it and we've created a new view, and this is the to-do page. So we don't need this bit for now, we just want the XAML. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to, what's that opposite? Oh, it's because there's nothing in it. First thing we're going to do is just neaten these up. We want to add in the namespace for magic. Magic equals magic gradients, there we go. Because we want to have that nice background again. So if we just go and grab that code actually. No, I don't want to join. Let's see. Woo! Yay! Betsy's great. Anyway, so we want to just go and steal that code quickly. I got a bit overexcited and deleted it too soon, but that's okay. So we just want that bit. Nope. That, there we go. And then we can end the grid. Let's go back to there. Now if we just run this, so that we've got good old hot reload. Aha, yes, so it's going to be new to do page. views. There we go. So it was just complaining because it still said main page equals new main page, which we deleted. So it was just being like, hey, you know, what up? So I've just, because things are now in views, when main page was created, it was created by the template, and so it was Luce in the root of this project. So its namespace was just the root of the project. So when we had this app XAML file, it already knew where it was. Because this is in views now, it's under the views namespace, so I've just put that in up here. So we can run that again now. Don't need that anymore. Just wait for this. Right, just quickly reply to this message while that loads, because I just need to do something. Oh no, we've got an error here. Error, sorry, I'll have a look in a sec. What's the problem? What have I done? Ah, that's because we had this last week, so it's going to be like that, I think. Let's try again. We'll get there, we'll get there. There we go. Cool. So we've got our background back. So now we just need to add something to it. So we keep this always on top or anything? Window. No. Okay. We'll just check back on it on a regular basis. So we've got this grid. So now, first thing we're going to want is how we're going to want to lay this out. So, okay, well, step by step. So we know that we want a stack layout because we want one that's horizontal. So we want orientation to be horizontal. The default is vertical. So if you want a vertical stack layout, you don't need to declare the orientation. But because we want horizontal, we're going to do it like that. So we're going to have... and then inside of that, we're going to have an entry. Is entry or editor? I think it's entry is one line, and then editor is multi-line. So text. So we'll set up the view model in a minute. So we're going to bind it to a property called to do item to do item. Entry text. Yep, just so we can differentiate it later from a to-do item. So that's the text. We might want to give it some placeholder that just says like, hey, you know, we're going to do it like this. So the placeholder is to-do item. So we can end that entry. So if we save that, we should see an entry appear now. There we go. Oh, okay, that's not what I meant. Eh? Oh, it's because it's in a grid. We put it inside its own stack layout. Actually, no, we can. I learned something interesting the other day in Xamarin Forms 101. You should be able to do surround with. There you go, surround with. See, it doesn't work on mine. I don't know what I'm doing wrong, but anyway, okay, so we'll just do stack layout. And then we'll move that. Oh yeah, we need to do key caster. Oh, come on. No, come on. Key caster. Okay, so we just need to do permissions. But what keycaster will do is allow you to allow you to see my keystrokes, because it might just be easier for you that way. So key card start. It's not access. Just quickly setting it up. Sorry about this. Yep, so it's got. Okay, never mind. I was hoping that I'd be able to share my keystrokes, but there's no point wasting time trying to get it to work. So this needs to get tabbed in one, and then this needs to go in an ending stack layout. There we go. So we save that now. It should. Okay, it's in the top left. How are we going to do this? Having 5. Okay, it's in the wrong place, so that's a bit better. Unless we do it in a grid, but for now we're just going to say this stack layout is going to be. Oh, it's not the stack layout, it's horizontal. How's that look? Okay, that's not quite right. But if we add the extra button, we'll see how it looks. Because it might just be that it's what do you call it? Just there's one thing, fill and expand, it's dealing with one item. So if we add an extra item, let's see what happens. So button text is add. Text. Worry about the text color a minute. So command, which what happens when it gets clicked will be add item commands, because then we might have a method called add item. If we save that now, how does it look? Okay, the button's tiny, but that's the start. So if we say font size is medium, it's better to use these keywords for the size because then they scale appropriately. Okay, cool. So just get the dashboard up again because my chat keeps resetting. But I want to keep an eye on the dashboard in case anyone says anything. So we've got this to-do item. Make it 25. Might move it down a bit. Okay, cool. So we've got this to-do item, we've got add, and we can. I want to break free. But if I click add, nothing happens because it's not coded to do anything. So we're going to start binding up those properties, right? Because before we even worry about adding a list, we can, the next step, you've got to build it up in bits. It can't jump ahead or you just get confused. So the next step will just be to have it print out into the console what you wrote in the box, and then you know that the wiring's right. So we're going to add a view model. So add, I just might be able to do it with M-Factor, MVVM Wizard. Yeah. Might not find anything because I called it views, but yep, so this view suffix is page, views folder, it's called views. Yeah, so it's a binding context. What are you laughing about, Ancient Coder? Are you laughing at my cheating? Yeah, I make really bad jokes. That's just what I do. View models, yeah. We do base view model because we're using MVVM helpers. Let's see what happens. Oh, that's just getting more complicated. We're just going to do it manually. I thought that was going to make it easier, but it doesn't. Let's just do it the old-fashioned way. So we're going to add a new... Oh, we could have just clicked class then. Want general empty class. So this is going to be the to-do page view model. We're going to make it inherit from base view model. So if you weren't here last week, base view model is in a library called MVVM helpers. And it's written by James Montemagno. It's super useful. All it does is implement, if it will let us, it might not do the deconstruction. No. Yeah, there you go. So base view model inherits from observable object. It has different properties on it that you'd expect. So this is just the properties. And it just makes your life easier because it's an observable object, it handles iNotify property change and all that stuff. So it's just something that makes our life super easy, and I really like it because it means that I don't have to implement a base view model myself. I just, all I have to do is just tell it that the properties are changing. So what properties have we got? So first of all, we need to tell it about the binding context, which we're going to do in code behind. You can do it in the code itself. But we're going to do binding context. So this is where we're going to say it's going to be a new to-do page view model. And we'll have to add the using statement in. There we go. So that's got the binding context set. So now if we have a look on here, it's going to say that this doesn't exist. Yeah, it's got weird. That's not going to let me do it. Okay, so we know that we've got a to-do item entry text. So we're going to want to do binding for that. So we're going to want a property. Actually, that makes it more difficult. We're going to do public string to do item entry text get suppose we're going to have to just do so private string to do item entry text, keep it consistent, and we can initialize that as empty. So that's going to return our to do item entry text, and then set, this is where MVVM helpers comes in. So that's going to be set property, so it's going to be ref to do item, that's what we want it linked to, and then we're saying, hey, just take the value. So what that'll do is that every time we do a, to do item entry text equals, that will call set, so that will then pass in the value that we've given it, and then it will, set this one here. But because behind the scenes it's doing all the iNotify property changed, it means that there's data binding, so when it updates, it does it automatically. We don't have to do anything funky, it just makes it happen. And because our entry item is watching this value, it means that the if we updated it behind the scenes, it would update it in the view as well, which is what we want. So we've got our entry text. That's nice and simple. So if we just double check the value here now. It should hopefully, is that right? It might be upset because we're just going to stop this and restart it because I think it's confused because oh no, maybe not. Okay, well, we'll see how we go. So next we wanted to add that command. So we're going to do it in here. So public I command, which comes from system. Is it system input? Is it system IO? No, I think it's system input. Oh no, yeah, system Windows to input. So what do we call it? Add item command. That seems simple enough. So cool. Cool. So we're going to say here that add item command is a new command because that comes from Xamarin Forms. Oop. Cool. So it's a new command and now it wants an action to do. So we're going to say like let's call something down here. Private add to do item to the list. Oh, right, so cool. So we can say here, just go ahead and call add item to the list. Oh, am I doing it wrong? Oh, add. There we go. So now when that's clicked, that will come down here. So we can just quite simply say console.writeLine to do item, put $, in front of it. So that basically means that we can do this. And so we're going to say it is to do item entry text. So that should go ahead and print it out. So what we're saying is when we click the button, come down here and just do the console, whatever the value of that is, which should get updated when we write in that box. Let's see. This might be where we find out I did it wrong. Come on. Okay, so now I want to ride a bicycle. Apparently it was just Queen references today. So if we have a look at what do we think the console would be? Check this is wired up right. Okay, it's not a good start. What's going on? What have I missed? Okay, let's try again and see. Lots of breakpoints. We'll solve this. Okay, so it calls into that. Nope. If we step over it. It's done that. Let's see what's happening. Yeah, okay, just carry on. Ah, you're having buffering problems. This isn't good. Don't be mean to me, internet. What's going on? Don't be mean, internet. Come on. What's happening? Fingers crossed it picks up. What's it doing? What's this stuff in? Just sit in action. Okay, so I'm just going to try it on my phone and just see what it comes out like. Don't do this to me. I wanted to stream today. What's going on? What's going on with my internet? What's going on, everybody? So it looks like for me on here. Okay, it's alright on here. Check the dashboard. Let me know if you can, if it's getting any better. I think this has what I want in it. Ah, I need to get, okay. That would make sense. Okay, let's try that. Right, I'm just going to message Copper Beardy, see if it's still playing up for him. So let's take that one out, continue, take that one out, continue, take that one out, continue. I want to be a dinosaur. Draw. Okay, that's good. Look in the application output. There we go. Woo! That's tiny. Nope, not that one. That one. Nope. Okay, but yeah, it says I want to be a dinosaur, so that's good. So we know that it can put that entry in. So now we're going to start adding a list. But first of all, we're going to commit what we've got so far. So we're going to do. Actually, we'll do it later. We'll do the list first because then we can tick off the goal. So the next thing we're going to want outside of this stacked layout is the list. We want a collection view. Okay, so we've got, do you want a list or a collection view? A list will do for now. Items, oh god, item source is going to be binding to do items. Can't remember how you do it. How to do a list view. I should know this. This is bad. Do you want a list view or collection view? On this item, doesn't seem right. Let's have a look. We want a sample. Okay, so we want the item source, yeah. Okay, it's collection view dot. Alright, okay, I get it. That makes sense. So we're going to make it collection view because that's like the new list view. So we might as well Keep it modern. So then we're going to say collection view dot item template. Data template. It's going to be a stack layout, horizontal stack layout. It's going to have a text, a label. Text is going to be item name, because we'll bind to that as well. And then next to it, we're going to have a checkbox. Is checked. It's going to be binding is finished. So all we're saying is going to have a checkbox that if it's finished, then it will have a checkbox. So if we save that now, so at the moment there's going to be nothing in that view. So the first thing we're going to want to do is this to do items. So we're going to want in our view model to have a it's going to be a public observable range. Is it observable range collection? Yeah, there we go. So it's going to be of type it's going to be a making this more complicated than it needs to be. So, alright, forget it's checked for now. We're just going to keep it simple. And we're just going to say it's a collection of strings. I'm going to call it, we called it to do items. Get it's going to be to do items. New cool. We've got a new list there, so we're going to say return for to do items, and then for set it's going to be set. Now it's going to be set property. It's going to be referencing to do items, and we're going to pass it the value to update. So now we'll leave it writing it to the bottom, but what we're also going to do is we're going to say, am I doing this wrong? Yeah, so we're going to want, let's just check Twitter, because I was asking about is anyone else having any problems? Do you want observable range collection? Maybe not. Okay, let's try not to be clever, so let's just have a... Okay, cool, so public list. What am I doing? it's not that one. One of these has what I'm after. I know where to look. Let me just quickly grab another window over here. I just need to go and jump to a conversation I had with Gerald where he sent me a reference. Let's just have a look. He sent me a really helpful reference project earlier in the year, so I'm hoping that will sort it out. Let's see. Somewhere I have the link that I want. Let's see. There we go. I just need to sign in. So then I've got a nice reference example. Ah, damn. So what app was that? What was that? Could have been any of the above. That was in June. So let's have a look in time. June. It could have been that. We shall see. Maybe not so much. Okay. It's not that demo. It's one of these demos somewhere. Let's see. What did I commit in June? Okay. Damn. Interesting. That suggests. Okay, no. Let's go back to me. That's interesting. Ah, okay. This could help. So this is Jim Bennett's based on his Xamarin Action book. Okay, so you can have a might be overkill for what we want. See what we find. Okay, just want to make a list. Let's see. So, okay, let's just strip this back. We don't need anything this fancy, we just need a list. Put in here. Data template, okay. What can we put in here? Anything. Okay, so let's just do a label. Text. We'll just say it's to do static. There, it's going to be, let's just do it as do item. I should do it. Let's just get a sample up for this. I feel like I'm making it harder than it needs to be. Let's see. We want collection view. We just want a list view. Collection view might be overkill. So this has got a person. Okay, so that's just setting them up with multiple bit. So that's doing it in UI, that's fair enough. So let's just try doing it as a list view. Okay, so it's just list view with the item source. Okay, so list view X. Don't need to do that. I just need to do item source is finding to do items. Cool. That's all we need. And then if we have a look at go behind. Okay, maybe we want a slightly more complicated example than that. Let's have a look. So that has a view cell with a stack layout with okay, so that's got a list view. So it's got a list view that allows uneven rows. We've got the item template, it's just a view cell with a stat label in it with, yeah, that will do. Let's just borrow that. We can always edit it, but that's a good starting point. Give ourselves some breathing room, pop that in. We don't need that. We just need to just neaten it up a bit. And then we're also going to say that it's item source is the woohoo dog raid, woof woof woof. Thanks, Gareth. Welcome, welcome. So if you're just joining us, you're just watching me do a very bad job of just trying to put a list view together. So, got a list view. We're just saying that the to-do items is what goes in the label. Hey everyone, welcome, welcome. If you're new here, say hi, whatever, you know. Welcome to the fun house. How was your stream, Gareth? There we go. Let's just neaten this up. Hate when it does this. There is a Visual Studio update, but that'll have to wait until post-stream. Let's just neaten this up. Cool. So now we just need to actually give it something to look at. So, have a look. How's this do? Let's have a look. So I've got the code behind. So that just creates a new array. Try and find a slightly more complicated example just to see how the code behind is done. Ooh, playing as a goose. It's supposed to be quite good. A few people have recommended it to me. Yeah, like I want to play it at some point, but I'm terrible at being mean to people. Yeah, well, I don't want to risk it. We've already had buffering problems earlier. I don't want to add to it. Okay, so we can just do it like that. Okay, so public observable range correction of string. I'm going to call it to do items. We're going to say, who's that way? It's going to be a get. Let's just do a private observable range collection of string lowercase s. So oh, it is now. I'm normally a nice person, but as a goose, a full-on troll. I like that. Cool, so that's going to return to do items, set the property, so that's going to be the to do items, and then we're going to pass it the value. So the idea here is we're just saying, you know, when you set it, add to do items. Yeah. Set property like that. So we should be able to do items dot add. We're going to say add the to do item entry text. Okay, let's see what happens. Let's run it and see. I'm trying to think if there's any good goose related puns I can make. Oh, what have I broken? What have I broken? Where? Grid. Stack layout. Entry. Ooh, got closing tags. What's the problem? Freebuild it all and see what happens. I feel like I'm missing something here. But I bet it's going to be something really obvious. Did you ever play Goat Simulator? I've heard that's quite trolly as well. List view is there. What am I doing wrong, eh? I'm happy about something. Okay. We've got one grid. And stacks out of the list view. Ah, that's one. So let's just sort this out. I've broken it, I think. So start the list view here. This needs to go in. And the stack layout. And the grid. Yeah, what's the problem? What have I missed? No. Still unhappy about something. Okay, so we can get rid of that. Let's try again. I'm sure it's still broken, but I just want to work on it bit by bit. Fix the bits that we can fix. It's doing something. Or maybe that was it. Maybe it was just getting confused with itself because I'd set on item selected but never actually handled it. Okay, cool. We have a list. So I want to jump around. Jump around. Jump around. Woohoo! We have a list. I don't know why it's like that. I don't know why it's small. We save that and see. Cool. Look at that padding. I don't know why it's in a stack layout. Check out that stack layout. Just to neaten things up a bit. Okay. See how that looks. Okay, it's still pretty ugly. Maybe we don't need the view cell either. Let's see. Let's just do that, and then that we can. There we go. If we save that now, how does it look? Ooh. Okay, I've broken it now. Gone too far. Just put that view cell back in, but we'll change it to a text cell. See how it looks now. Right. Hot reload died because of that. Oh, no. Okay, it does need to be a view cell. Hi. See how we do. Oh, have a think one. I want to troll as a goose. Okay, so it doesn't look very pretty in there, so we're going to give it a... So I'm just doing options here, so I'm saying I want it to be in the middle, like that. Oh, no. And then let's do, hey, what should we do? Should we do stick it in the middle again? So vertical. Ah! Xamarin problems are back. Dang it. Do vertical options the end. That'll do. Then I might do it start. I'll stick it in the middle. That'll do for now. So, okay, so we've got that list, but there's just a few little neatening up things we want to do. So the first one will be that when you click the button to add it to the list, we're going to say that the to do item entry text is equal, no, not that one, we want the public one. Do item entry text equals string.empty. So that will clear the list. So if we, I might need to restart this one. Okay, so here we go. So we're nearly done with the goal, which was to create a list that you can type stuff, press a button, and it adds it to the list. Okay, so want to troll. Oh, we need a new one. I want to. So we've done ride a bicycle. I want to break free. I want to dance. Why not? Okay. I did that in the wrong order. See, so I did something silly there. So I'm clearing the value of the box before adding it to the list, so it's adding nothing. And also we're seeing that it's allowing you to add empty. So this is where we're going to start doing some actual like logic. So first of all, we're going to say stick that there, but we're going to do some stuff first. So if it's actually we'll just do it this simple way. So if to do item entry text, it's going to be is string is null or empty this in return. So just do nothing. Otherwise, add the items and set that as blank. So if we stop this now and restart, hopefully we'll be able to see it doing what we expect it to do. So we can do a bit of funky stuff. So we can, what else can we do? I feel like chicken tonight. Cool. So that's added the item and it's cleared the item out. And what happens if we try and, yeah, so it doesn't do anything. But I'm also wondering whether we should do a binding. So we say that the button isn't enabled unless it's got text. So is enabled can be bound to is add enabled. So what we're going to say here is that we want to do public bool is add enabled. We actually do. I suppose we can just do it. Yeah. So bool is add enabled. It'll be off by default. So that's going to be add enabled, and then we're going to say for the set, it's going to be set property reference is add enabled with the value. But as soon as the so we're just going to wrap these in curly braces because we're just going to say when you set it, set the property, but also set is add enabled to be true. So if we run that now, see what happens. I'm not sure if this is the right way to do it, but this is why we code together. see. Okay, that's not happy. I feel like I'm making this more complicated than it needs to be. Let's see. Lots will have something that will help. Lots always has something that will help. Now here's the reference point. Let's see. Views. Let's see if we can find something that might give us what we want. How's he doing it? Data template in a resource dictionary. It specifies, okay, what those bits are. And he's got a list view. So pulse refresh enabled. If it's refreshing, and he's got the item source, which is tweets. And he's got his test data for the previewer. Why don't I know about how to do this stuff? This is where it shows that, like, you know, I'm a hobby developer. Okay, do you know what? It's quite quiet tonight anyway, so I think I'm just gonna stop the stream since we've been having it's quiet and we've been having some buffering issues, and I'm gonna go away and I'm gonna try and implement what it is we're trying to do here with a simple list by next week and actually understand it enough that I can explain it all to you, because I think that's more valuable than watching me poke around the internet trying to understand a load of stuff. You know, if you do want to watch me try and work it out, then let me know. I can carry on doing it. It's not a problem. I just want to make sure that people are getting value out of this. Let's see. Okay, that's cool. I'm just trying to work out what's going on. Just trying to pick a good example of an actual list view. This might help. Have a look. Yeah, me too. I guess I get annoyed with getting stuck because I spend all day in my job being stuck. Okay, so if we go to view models. How do you want to do this? Oh, I have an email about the Azure challenge. Whoop, whoop. Cool, that was interesting. So let's see. So trying to think about what it is I want to do. So I know. Oh, is it? Boom! This guy, this smiley face. There we go. So this uses Comet, but it might give us an idea. So there's an observable collection of to-do items. Okay, so that's what we want to start with. We want to define a to-do item. And he's got, interesting, he's got a to-do view. Don't worry about some of the commenty syntax, we're just looking for the bits that have what we want. Then he has a new list view for to-do items. Okay. Well, this is interesting. So he's got different properties here, and that's a binding object. So again, I think that's from Comet, but it just means it's bindable. But it's based off. Is it? It is based off of a thing, a real thing. Where is it? It might be some form samples. Yeah. Based off this bad boy. I know this because Clancy talked about it in his stream. If you're watching and you don't, like whoever's watching, if you don't follow Clancy already, you really should. He doesn't stream that often and he hasn't done for a couple of weeks. I think he's been in India, but his stream's really interesting and he's super clever. This has got, ew, gross. No, that's just horrible. This must predate list views. We have issues with Xamarin form samples. That's a new one. Ah, cool. Let's see what's going on. So okay, so we're going to want a to-do item. So let's just that's going to be a class, and that's going to have name is finished, because we might want to save that in some kind of state. So if you change pages, you don't want it to forget whether it's finished or not. So that's going to be a string, and that's going to be a ball. I'm not going to worry too much about stuff like done. Went back one too far. Ah, cool. SQLite. Okay, we've been going for an hour and a half, so I'm definitely going to call it there, because I think what I'm going to try and do before next Monday is try and put together some kind of like sketches or designs, or at least something kind of written down that makes sense that we can follow, because I kind of have an idea in my head of what I want to do, but from a visual perspective, not a code perspective. So maybe I just need to sit and try and kind of sketch out what it is I want to achieve. And then we, at the start of next week, we can talk through it and then maybe try and actually implement it together. So yeah, I will say good night to everyone. Thank you for watching. As always, if you've got any questions, at LuceCarty1 on Twitter, I am always here. Just drop me a message and I will do my best to help. And with that, I shall see you next week. As always, I will also just leave the chat open for a few minutes after this. So if you do have any questions post-lag or whatever, then, by all means, just pop a message and we'll keep chatting. And I will see you next week.